Thank you, David. Welcome back, Winnie, all the way from Australia. Yeah, nice to see you. How's everybody? Doing good? A little bit cold in here. Well, I want to remind you that last July we were in these very same seats wishing that it would be a little cooler. So prayer sometimes takes a while to be answered, but yeah, welcome back, Trip Glazer. Good to see you here again. To talk today is on reality. What is reality? Is there an absolute reality that is common for everybody? Or with 7 billion people on the earth, do we have 7 billion different realities? And the case I'm going to make today is that we have 7 billion different human realities. Each and every one of us has our own reality. And a reality is what we believe to be true. And that varies. We have a lot of commonalities, but for the most part, we have parts of our reality that are exclusive to us. Take my cousin Ozzy, for instance. He has a reality that is difficult for me to understand. If you don't know him, he lives in Nunda, South Dakota, and he's one of my cousins, as I said. Anyway, the Moose Lodge in Nunda chartered a huge bus to go to Biloxi, Mississippi, and take some of their Moose Lodge members with them. So my cousin Ozzy and Lars Iverson, the owner of Lars's Tavern there in Nunda, decided to go simply so they could play some golf. So after they got back, I asked him, Ozzy, how was your golf game? And he said it was a drag. And I said, how so? He said, well, Lars and I signed up for 18 holes. I got up there to tee off on hole 3. All of a sudden, I hear this huge thump. I turn around, and Lars has fallen to the ground and passed out. So, for the rest of the day, it was hit the ball, drag Lars. Hit the ball, drag Lars. I think only the golfers really get that, but they are a committed bunch. Nothing's going to disturb their game. Another thing, I was on my computer this week, and a little sign popped up on the side that said, how many days old are you? And then it had a little thing you could click. So I went to the site and put in my birth date and everything, and it said, you are 26,224 days old. I thought, wow, that's quite an achievement. I've never had 26,000 of anything, but now I have it in days. Then underneath that, there was another thing you could click to determine how many days you had left. And it ran you through kind of a health survey. It ran you through a lifestyle survey. It ran you through habits, good and bad habits. And it determined how many days you have left. And I have 8,222 days left. Now, 26,000 gone, 8,000 left. The big question that popped up for me, what am I going to do with those 8,220 days? Am I going to live them in the same reality that I lived the 26,000? Or am I going to do something with the 8,220 days that I have left that is really going to make life happier, life more fulfilling, life more purposeful, life more everything? I have that choice. I can change my reality. Human beings are the only species on the earth that have the capacity to transcend their reality. And what I mean by that, whatever reality you're living in today, you can transcend that. And what transcendence means is you leave behind that which serves you no purpose. And you move into a reality where those things are absent. It might be a hot temper. It might be a bad habit. It might be other things that you engage in your life that don't serve your purpose. They're not for your well-being. They're like a pebble in your shoe walking down the path of life. So, what is it that we want? What do you want? You're living in your reality. It's exclusively yours. Nobody else can really determine what goes into that if you don't let it. But what do you want done with your reality? We have all sorts of beautiful things. We like peace, we like love, we like harmony. And so to figure out what the primary foundation in our reality should be, we have to look at all of nature, because nature is consistent throughout all of life. Now, In the beginning, there was the Big Bang. We all know that. From the Big Bang, there came atoms. And the atoms had to harmonize. In order to join together, in order to be attracted to each other, they had to be in the same harmonic energy wave. And when they did that, they joined together or congregated. And after so many atoms got into that congregation, it transformed itself into a molecule. And then the molecules did the same thing. They had a certain vibration rate, and in order to join the other molecules, you had to attune yourself to that vibration rate. And when there were so many molecules, they transformed into a cell. And then the cells did the same thing, but the point is that it's all based on harmony. Harmony is the main consistent throughout the entire universe. Everything started with a totally chaotic dust storm full of subatomic materials, and it has evolved into where we're at today. But harmony is the base. Without harmony, and then we find ourselves outside of nature, conflicting with nature, resisting nature. So I want you to just hold that in mind. Harmony is the primary characteristic that you want in your reality. You want it to be harmonious. So to transcend our reality and move into a new reality is simply discovering what is disharmonious in our life, and it always narrows down to the thoughts in our mind or the feelings in our heart that are disharmonious. Find out what's disharmonious in our lives and transcend our reality, leaving that stuff behind. Now, the best source of direction that we have is the sacred books of the past, all the major religions. And this morning I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bible. But first of all, I want to talk about the Bible, how it began and how it ended up. The Bible began with two different approaches. One was reasoning or logic. The Bible taught people or instructed people how to live their lives that respected other people. But another part of the Bible that was just as important was fiction. It was make-believe. And people drew on stories, or myths as they called them. People drew on myths to help explain what they couldn't understand or what they didn't know. Like, how did all of life begin? And when the Bible was written, they didn't know about the Big Bang. They didn't have all the scientific discoveries that we have. So they made up a story. Well, it began with a man and a woman. And a man and woman were provided the Garden of Eden. And it was perfect in every way. And God blessed them as his children. All that they were asked is that they didn't do one thing. See, they had to explain how life had evolved to a point where there's struggles and hardships and all sorts of things. So you can have everything in the Garden of Eden except for the one piece of fruit that's forbidden. Well, Adam and Eve ate that piece of fruit. When that happened, immediately, three things took place that changed their reality. Garden of Eden, paradise, everything beautiful. What a reality. They eat the fruit. Three things happen. First of all, they feel extremely guilty because God told them not to do that. So they hide. They hide from God, hoping that he won't find them. The second thing that happened is they took on a sense of shame. They were guilty about what they had done, but they were shameful in regards to themselves because they had done that. And when they became shameful, they noticed their differences, where they were naive or innocent before. They noticed their differences between each other. They became ashamed and they covered themselves up. And the third thing that happened is life became very, very difficult. It was difficult to bear children. Adam had to go out and work the land to get food. Life became a laborious chore. Now, this story was never meant to be taken literally, but there is a message in there. There's a source of direction in there that can assist each and every one of us with the lives we have. Because we came into this world very much like Adam and Eve came into the Garden of Eden. We were cared for in every moment. We had everything. They gave us food. They gave us rest. They kept us warm. They took care of us. They loved us. They held us. It truly was a paradise as a young child. But then, just like Adam and Eve, something happened someday where we did something wrong, we made a mistake, we aggravated somebody, whatever it was, and for the first time in our lives, somebody treated us or acted towards us in a way that seemed to indicate we weren't lovable. That was a whole new reality, where we had been loved and doted on and all of these different things. Suddenly, that love was withdrawn, and that changed everything. As soon as we were old enough, we developed the concept of guilt. Oh my gosh, I did that, I'm guilty. Of shame, I'm not as good as mommy wants me to be, or as daddy wants me to be, or as God wants me to be. And life became difficult because we began to deal with ego, and we began to deal with low self-esteem, and we began to deal with feelings of inferiority. And then we go to school, and we carry that with us. And we either attack other people and make them feel unworthy, or they attack us. And so all of a sudden we have this persona of, I'm not good enough, I am guilty, I am shameful, that we carry through life with us. And for most of us here, that's our reality. We live in that reality where we have guilt, we have shame, and we struggle with life. So when I talk about transcending our reality, basically it is moving to another reality where we leave guilt and we leave shame and we leave the whole struggle with life behind. And that's not always easy, but it can be done. I often heard the transcendence of reality compared to a huge mansion, and within the mansion there were many, many rooms. All the rooms were exactly the same except for two things. One was the temperature of the room, and the other one was the lighting of the room. But each little room represented a reality. So if you're in one room and it's dim and the temperature is uncomfortable, you're in there, but you want to change, you simply go to a door that leads to the next room. Now, sometimes it takes us a long time to get to the door. Sometimes it takes us a long time to get it open. Sometimes we stand there and hesitate before we walk through. Every single alcoholic in this room, recovered alcoholic or not, every single drug addict, every single person that deals with any other sort of addiction knows that when you get ready to sober up or to get straight, there's a hesitation. Because when I walk through that room, if I'm an alcoholic, that means I'm leaving alcoholism behind me, never to have another drink. And that's kind of a scary thought for the alcoholic that depends on alcohol as a vital part of his or her life. But it isn't contained to just alcoholism or drugs. It's contained to, as I said before, the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about others, the conflict that you have in your life. There are all sorts of little things in your reality that disrupt it. What I'm saying is there's more for you to experience. You don't have to go through the troubles. You don't have to go through the disappointments or the disturbances that we sometimes do. It's making a focused point. What do you want in your life? Instead of alcoholism, we want sobriety. And that's an important point. We don't put our thoughts, our feelings, or our attitudes, or our perceptions on what we don't want, trying to get rid of them, trying to smudge them out. We put them on what we do want. Not alcoholism, but sobriety. If you have some sort of an illness or something, you don't fight the disease, but rather you push yourself forward for good health. Oftentimes I'll read in the newspaper, I'll listen to different programs, and somebody is making a valiant battle with cancer. They're fighting cancer. Well, cancer is a part of the body. Cancer is a part of whoever has it. So rather than fighting cancer, it's just that simple shift. I am for good health. I am for remission. And the cancer will take care of itself. Today, I want you to just think a little bit about your reality, and it's yours alone. Nobody else's. You came into this world, the foundation for it was put up, the framework was put up by your parents and by your family and by your school and by all other people in your social community. They gave you thoughts and feelings and attitudes and perceptions that you believed to be true, and that became your reality. Then, as you went along, you added to it. especially when we move into early adulthood. We begin to add to our reality. When we get onto the spiritual path, we add to it even more, and we begin to understand that we have control over this. This is my life. My reality is my life. It is what I believe to be true, whether it is or not. And that's the biggest problem with the human condition. We don't know what is true and what is not in many cases, especially when it comes to our reality. Anybody in here suffered from low self-esteem or feelings of inferiority? Anybody ever thought that you weren't good enough, that you disappointed somebody? See, that's all a part of your reality. But is it based on truth? No. You're just like everybody else, no better, no worse. We all come into this world as students of life, not graduates of life. And all these things that are natural, normal part of life somehow come back to us as something is wrong. As we move into meditation, just think of one little thing in your reality that you'd like to heal, that you'd like to transcend, that you'd like to move beyond. Oftentimes when we move into changing our reality, we make a list, a grocery list. I've seen people come up to the burning bowl with a effort to change the reality, and they had like a phone book. They wanted to change everything in their life. You take it one step at a time. One little thing. And within a month's time, you'll see that you've moved beyond that room where that existed into another room where there's more light, where the temperature is more comfortable, and you have a much better life. We'll now move into meditation.
Yes, our thoughts are prayers. And even when we're not aware, we are always praying. Think about that one thing in your life, that one thing that nags at you, that is always present on your mind, that you would like to change. Find a comfortable position in your seats. Take a deep, relaxing breath. And as you inhale, think peace. 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 My peace I give to you. And as you exhale, let go. Let go of thoughts of inadequacy, inferiority, lack, limitation. Feel the peace that passes all understanding as you inhale deeply and slowly. And then exhale, each breath taking you deeper into the conscious awareness of your peace. Close the door of those things that would distract you from your peace and walk into the room where you will be immersed with total peace. take these words of our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, as your own. In that room of total peace, he would say, I am now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, light, and wisdom. I am peace. I am peace. I am peace. In the silence. In the silence. And now, as we gently return our attention and our conscious awareness to this time and this space that we occupy, let us remember that no matter what we experience in life, there is a deep, peaceful presence within us. All we need is to walk through that door and immerse ourselves in the presence of pure being. Take these words as your own. I am poised and centered in the Christ mind, where nothing disturbs the deep, calm peace of my soul. And so it is. Amen.
Peace.